Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house, finance or insure a house, or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim DePola and Johnny C. live on Real Radio.
Yeah, good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition. It's Florida Talk Real Estate. We got you for the next 2 hours of infotainment, and thank you very much for being with us on this very chilly South Florida morning. I see you out there, 92.1, 101.7. I see you freezing even more than I am at this point. Oh, my goodness. And, of course, if you're on your free download, your iHeartRadio app, you could be worldwide, and that's amazing. Thank you very much for being with us. And we do live stream on a Saturday. You can join us. Cameras are set up. The lights are on in the studio. You'll find us on Facebook, Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook, on YouTube as well. That's Florida Talk Real Estate, LLC, home of a ton of informational chunk videos, plus our live stream on a Saturday morning. And, of course, you can be a part of the program. If you'd like join us with a question, comment, concern in the world of real estate, you're more than welcome. Dial it up, 877-927-6969. The first voice you'll hear, the melodious tones of our producer extraordinaire, my brother from another mother. Jimothy, how you be?
Doing a mighty fine. Good morning, Mr. C.
Ooh, look.
Oh, chilly out, huh?
Dude, I don't know how you're in short sleeves. You're a beast.
The car was warm, so in here it's not too bad.
Yeah, but you're not in the car. It's not too bad. Yeah, you're a beast. Always good to see you, my dude.
Good to see you as well, Jimmy.
I have a long sleeve, a hoodie, I have a scully on. I'm thinking about pulling the hoodie over my head, headphones on,
ski cap.
Oh, love it, dude. 3 pairs of socks.
Mm-hmm.
How many pairs of pants?
Stupid. Only no
long johns.
To the drop. I don't. You know what? I was so mad this morning. I'm like, where are my long johns?
Oh, you went for them.
I did. It's 66 degrees in my house this morning.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's nice.
Dude, that's terrible.
I mean, it's chilly.
Chilly.
That's like 10 degrees and then you're normal, 10 degrees lower.
So I like my little sleeping space to be that cold, right?
Okay.
But like in my
Not
room,
to walk around.
Well, let me let everybody know the voice you're hearing right now. That's the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. There's my growl.
I'm credentialed now.
You're totally
now I can talk about winter.
Officially can talk. Yeah.
Well, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. So my room, we keep ice cold because it's nice to be cold and warm in the blankies, right?
How do you do that? You just keep the windows open?
No, so we have a
zones.
Portable, yeah. Well, not zones, but just a AC for the room.
Okay.
One of those like portable ones.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Works like a beast.
Is it in the window or is it like
So it's supposed to be
the mini split?
It's supposed to be one that goes out the hose goes out the window.
Okay.
It's supposed to be one of those.
Okay.
I just run the hose to the living room because you're just replacing air.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you walk out of my room, which is freezing, it's warm in the rest of the house.
Nice.
It didn't happen today. Mike.
No.
Didn't happen today.
No, you're like, it's got colder.
I didn't get that break. I didn't get that break.
Do you have to keep the bedroom cold because there's so much activity in there?
You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pinochle.
Yeah. Bocce. It's a big room.
Yeah.
Cornhole.
Yeah.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Get out the bags.
Yikes.
Yeah, all kinds of activities. There's lots of room for activities. That's a good sleeping environment.
What are we going on? Like 3 days of this cold? 4?
I feel like 3 weeks at this point.
Oh, well, yeah. We had that one where it was a couple days and then it warmed up.
This cold, though? This cold?
Yeah, this is the first time this year it's gotten
this cold.
But I feel bad saying that. I mean, it's not really.
Yeah, well.
Well, you do have your
I say that to my brother, and he's up in New Jersey, and it's 3 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so
it's
that's
supposed
why
to be.
he laughs at me.
It's supposed to be. He lives in Jersey.
Yeah. It's in the 60s.
We're by the
guys.
equator.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was I had a lunch at a real estate office this week, and there was a Canadian guy there who's kind of like interning with an insurance agent, and he was talking about going to the beach. Right. This is on Wednesday. It's like, yeah, yeah. You're not gonna see anybody there.
Do that. Yeah. You can
Except
have
the other
place yourself.
Canadians.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are loving it. I'm over it. Let's see how Jimmy D feels about it. I've told you for 13 years now, he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. This is our fearless leader. And of course, you can find him, Keller Williams Innovations, the Florida Home Pros team. Jimmy D, you're bundled up. How you be?
Hey, I'm bundled up, but not like you. Long Johns? I was like, I haven't thought about Long Johns since I lived in New York. I'm like, holy moly, Long Johns.
You didn't think about Long Johns this morning when your bare feet hit the tile in the bathroom and you were getting ready to get in the shower? You weren't like, I'm putting on Long Johns.
No,
Jim has carpet in his shower.
Shag.
Wall to wall. The walls are carpeted.
That's the way to do it.
You ever see, what is that? Get Him to the Greek?
I never saw that movie. I want to see that movie.
So I know
Is that the follow up to Get Shorty?
No,
it's not. No, it's a standalone, actually.
Yeah.
But, and I know Diddy's not in a lot of great graces with a lot of folks right now, but he's hilarious in that movie.
Oh, he was in that movie?
Yeah, he's
kidding.
hilarious in it too. Yeah, and whenever I think about carpet on the wall, I think about P. Diddy.
Nice.
When I think of when I think of Get Me to the Greek, you think of the Greek a little bit down here, our Greek. And I know he was trying to write a movie right around that time. He was trying to write a screenplay.
Still, well, he's got it's a story of his life. Yeah,
but and I thought maybe
he's got the treatment.
Yeah, but I thought maybe that Get Me to the Greek was the thing he was working on at the time, right? Because it was right around the time he was talking about it on the air that he was working on it. So that's kind of wild.
That'd be a good working title, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I thought it might have been his. I was like, oh, maybe they picked it up.
No,
I didn't know.
No.
So that movie was a ripoff of another movie with Peter O'Toole and some other guy where crazy actor kind of personality had to be like a young assistant, had to keep him under control to perform whatever he had to perform. Isn't that what Get Me to the Greek?
Yeah, and it was the role was what's his name, the comedian Brand. I'm totally spacing his first name right now.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's great. Russell Brand. Yeah,
Russell
he's
Brand.
great. It's a good cast. I enjoyed that movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out.
Diddy's great at it.
Yeah. Well, when I was driving down here in Jupiter, when I woke up this morning, it was 47. It was 64 in my house.
Russell Brand.
It was I was Russell.
Isn't that what I said?
Yep.
I thought
That's what he
Robert.
said. No, Russell.
Right.
Yeah. It was 47, 64 in the house, Johnny. So I beat you by 3 degrees.
Oh, well, you're a little north of me.
Didn't bother me too much. No, just to let you know, when I drove from Jupiter to West Palm this morning, it was a 4-degree difference. It's 4 degrees warmer here.
So I say you're more north of me.
Exactly.
You want to get colder? Go north.
Exactly.
Oh, so
Like
we can warm up
Jersey,
just
maybe.
by driving down south a little bit. Go to Miami, Keys.
Oh.
We have a new
Pensacola,
a new acquisition in the house. Tiffany got an electric blanket.
Oh, I thought you got a new pet.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's that?
That'll be used for a week and then stored away for the next 13 years.
I haven't thought about one of those things in so many years.
Is it
right?
awesome?
Like it's for her. I mean, I don't require it, but she loves it.
Do you use it?
She'll put it underneath. Like she'll sit on the couch. So she'll put it down and then sit on the couch.
Is that leather?
So the heat's coming from the
well, so that's freezing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then she'll put it on the bed and then lay on top of it.
Yeah.
So she got the heat coming from the bottom.
I
Yeah.
guess there isn't much action going on in that bedroom, right?
Ooh.
I mean, it's winter.
Look up
It's not March yet.
I think they call it a chunky blanket. It's like an Afghan style
Okay.
where there's like holes in it.
Yeah.
So you're like, how's this going to keep you warm? It is like one of the
air
heaviest,
pockets.
warmest
Yeah.
blankets.
Right.
And I've
air
been rocking. You ever heard of a hoodie?
No.
So it's
Hoodie?
It's a hoodie, but it's
Mhm.
like super like wearing like 3 hoodies. Like it's really thick,
Okay.
big, oversized. Yeah, they're
No.
amazing. I've been
Like a
utilizing.
ski coat.
You see,
I
like
have
you're
this-
equipped. You have all this
I
equipment.
have
You
this
would never be able to
vision
break it
that
out.
I have this vision like he's part of the Christmas story with that little kid
Yeah,
that
yeah.
comes up, he can't move,
He's got
and
the
he
arms
falls
out
down,
to
he
the
can't
side.
move. Get me up, get me up.
Wow.
I want it.
Who can pull the brother's name? What's the main guy's Ralphie,
Oh,
right?
Randy.
It was Randy.
Was it?
Nice.
Oh, wow, you know.
Look
That's
at that.
pretty Cool. I
I've
watched it
seen
8
that
million
movie
times.
about 10,000.
Yeah, of
I
course.
just it was like 4 weeks ago. I saw it like 300 times.
That was a local, that's a local guy that wrote that. Bob Clark went to Fort Lauderdale High School before he became a writer.
A Christmas Story.
Yep. And then he wrote Porky's, of course. And
He wrote Porky's.
oh yeah, he did Porky's.
No kidding.
Right around the
I'll be
same
damned.
time. And
Classic.
that's
I
how he got
distinctly remember
that's
a
how he
mole
got
on it.
Christmas Story. Was Porky's was an unexpected hit, so they gave him the Christmas story that he wanted to do.
That's how
And-
Jimmy met Carla.
And
The shower scene.
and my coaches, the football and wrestling coaches, maybe baseball coach at our high school, Piper High School in Sunrise, they were all
In it?
no, they
Oh.
were all athletes with Bob Clark at Fort Lauderdale High School. So a lot of the characters were based on the coaches at my school.
That's funny.
So my wrestling coach, who's also a big football coach, he was Meat, right? The guy Meat.
That's cool.
Ah.
No
And he was
kidding.
so angry. That guy, I love that guy.
The coach?
I always call him Coach Gordon. He was just an awesome guy.
But Meat was one of the kids, and like
He was
there's
one
no way
of the
to tie
kids.
it. To
He
the
was the
coach.
one. Well, he was the one that didn't get the college scholarship he wanted, and he got really drunk and he fell into
Right.
a bowl of soup or chili or something. He almost passed out in a bowl of chili.
Diner
That
or
happened
something.
kind of in
Yeah.
real life. That was like a real life thing that happened. He didn't get into the college he wanted, got really drunk, passed out. They used it. So all those coaches were trying to sue Bob Clark back in the day, saying that they stole that, which is totally not true. It's
My
totally
life.
fictionalized. Yeah, it's a fictionalized account where
Yeah.
you could do it.
That's
But anyway,
epic.
they were so angry. And anyway, I just little
That's
thing.
interesting. Bob Clark.
Bob Clark is his name. Yeah, he passed. He passed kind of young. I think he was in his 40s or 50s when he passed. So he passed kind of young.
Oh, that's
It's a very good example of one of those movies that doesn't pass the PC test.
Oh no.
Are you talking about Porky's or the
yeah.
Christmas Story?
No, Porky's. Porky's.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
the stuff in there, it's like, oh my gosh.
yeah. That was pretty funny.
Wow.
Thankfully, they made it when they made it because we wouldn't get it now.
It
Yeah, I
brought-
guess I could say woke instead of PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, PC's
Yeah.
old.
yeah, I take
that's-
the
that's-
PC over the word.
Right.
Well, they're the same.
I know,
Yeah.
but
It's the
still,
same.
it's the point of the thing.
the same.
Because I'm an old fart. 'Cause I'm an old fart now. We were talking about snow a little bit, or cold weather. Let's talk a little bit about snow, because this is so interesting about this. What did I say?
I don't know.
was funny?
When you said talk about snow, Jimmy
Oh.
laughed. I think.
Yeah, what
I don't
was
know
so
what
funny?
he's thinking
What
of.
is
It was 7 inches of snow in Pensacola, Florida. That is just
Oh.
amazing to me.
8.8. 8.8 is where it turned. I'm looking at the stats here. They
That
had
is mind-boggling.
Santa Rosa County, where the city of Milton is, this year got 8.8 inches as of Thursday.
It's wild.
Now, the second highest inches in Florida ever recorded. What do you think the second? Because that's the most ever. What do you think the second highest amount of inches recorded in a snow floor?
Yeah, I was going to say 4 point something.
Yeah, you're right. 4.4, and that was in 1954. Okay, then we have 3 inches of snow in Hamilton, Jefferson, Okaloosa County in 1958. Then in 1989, Sewanee had 3%. 1958 sounds like 1958 was a very cold year.
It does.
Then we had Taylor and Wakulla County in 1958. Gulf, 1958, had a little bit less than 3 inches. Duval had like 2.5 inches. Duval, I'm surprised Duval.
Yeah.
Escambia, that was 1989 too. So Escambia in 1954 had just a little less than 2.5, and Bradford in 1977. That's the year I saw the snow in Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise area. They had 2 inches of snow up in Bradford that time.
How much snow did
back
you get in
then.
Lauderdale? Like
He saw it.
nothing accumulated, right?
Bird, what do you call those? Not bird feeders, but the bird
Bath.
bird baths. You'd see like maybe a crust around the rim of some ice, right? Because most of the snow, as soon as it hit, it melted,
Gotcha.
right? So you didn't really, you could see it falling, but you didn't see it. Not like Pensacola where you're
Oh,
like
yeah.
digging it out and everything,
How
right?
about, tell me, I know you guys have. You've seen the drone footage going over like I-10. There's like 100-mile stretch where it's just the road is white.
Yeah.
There's no action.
Yeah.
You talk about underprepared. There's just no preparation, no ability to do anything because they're like, we don't have the equipment. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
I
I don't
where
know
did,
what
where
to
did
tell
they
you.
even get it? Because I-10, I know they were plowing that, but I mean, where'd they get that equipment from?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know,
from
Michigan,
Canada.
they brought it down.
I know, right? Where did they get the snow?
I saw a
Yeah.
video of there were 2 guys like sitting on the back of a truck with
I
like,
saw-
plastic cups, like kind of hand spreading ice, you know, or
Salt?
salt.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Saw it
God.
too, yeah.
With cups.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy.
I was in the
But
blizzard.
the Farmer's Almanac told us it was going to be cold this year.
Yeah.
It-
Yes.
In Florida?
Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hit a new record in Florida. If I wasn't so busy, I probably would have went up there for a couple of days.
Really?
Just to hang out in the snow for a little bit, just to check it out. Yeah, I miss the snow. Only as a vacationer, though.
Right.
And I don't even ski or anything. I just miss the idea of snow, But a week is pretty good. And if I'm on vacation and I don't have to crawl out of bed at a certain time and I can get out when I want, then I'm cool.
I
no
like
pun intended.
I like playing in the snow. So where I grew up in Northern California, it was like a 3-4 hour drive to Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
So I could go and ski, do whatever you want, and have as much fun in the snow, and then I go home and get away.
Yeah.
And then enjoy it, right?
Here's a question that unfortunately Ross isn't here to answer, but there were people, at least a couple that I saw videos on, where their pool enclosures collapsed because of the weight of the snow.
Wow.
Now, is that covered under homeowners insurance?
It would be, yeah.
Well, not all the time, because those enclosures now, sometimes the insurance companies don't want to insure them at all.
Yeah, they'll
have
a,
or how
they'll
about
have an exclusion.
Exclusion, yeah.
like those outside, like a garage, but like it doesn't have walls. I don't know.
A flat roof.
Yeah, that type of flat roof. And
they're
collapsed in because of the weight of the. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's mind-boggling to me.
These insurance companies might be thinking, really?
Yes,
really?
Snow collapse.
Right? We have the 3 hurricanes, and now I got to deal with this stuff.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
If I were the builder who made that, I might be questioning myself. Like, I couldn't handle like
4 inches of snow couldn't handle it. Yeah.
Crazy times.
Just a couple of shout outs. Elizabeth, thanks for checking in as always. Love you. Joyce, Johnny's mom. Good morning, and hope you enjoy the cold weather better than Johnny does.
No.
And hey, Francis, a big fan of the show. I hope you're staying warm too. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to go over. I want to do a little bit of shout outs. The first shout out I want to do is and it's very confusing, Mike, because it's so funny. Right now I have 2 listings that have the same beginning numbers, 3561. And they're two different properties. Now they have different street numbers, but it gets very confusing to me when I'm looking at the showings and all that. Like which 3561, right? Which one am I talking about right now? Well, now we have 2 buyers, first-time home buyers. I'm not going to say the last name, but it's
the same.
They have the same last name. So when I sent both buyers last week to Mike,
we had to clarify.
Yeah, Mike is like, is this the same people? And I'm like, no, different people, because they have the same last name.
Yeah, it's very common. We always identify a file by a last name.
Yeah,
so like as it's moving from pre-approval all the way through closing, like within my team, it's always last name, and it's rare that you would have the same last name at the same time, right? So it's rare enough where it's not a problem where you have to like switch it up, right? Switch up our system.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is interesting that we have two buyers at the same time, pre-approved, like they're not in contract. They're both like in that early stage of shopping, house hunting. So, yeah. So shout out to them.
Yeah, best of luck to both of them.
Yeah. So, what's going to happen? There's a lot of people out there. Is like, we've talked about this before. Is like, is it worth buying now? And they're trying to gauge the market and everything. And with Michael, the first buyer. He's has a young family and his wife is pregnant with their first child, and they really need to get situated. Kind of what I told Johnny when he started first getting married. Hey, it's time now, and
time to grow up, son.
That's
yeah.
Right.
So he's trying to get something now. It's really tough with these first-time home buyers right now because costs are high, prices are high. So you really got to figure out what the best option is for all the different people. Michael tried to do some stuff with another agent that was a little less experienced than myself at the beginning, and it didn't work out well enough. Like they really couldn't get any traction. So I'm going to see if I can switch gears of what they're looking for compared to what they were trying to do originally. So, Mike, what I'm going to try to do is go from condo to townhome instead of finding a qualified FHA townhome. Condo. I'm going to try just to go straight to the townhome, because with townhome you can do FHA financing, correct?
Yeah, and he said for conventional too. So I think you mean like when you're doing the condo, it's the old story, right? The condo has to qualify, so the buyer has to qualify and the condo has to qualify, and so there's additional work there, and there's also certain buildings just aren't going to be financeable for low down payment. So whether you're doing FHA or conventional, both of those have a low down payment, and that's like what we're talking about.
Right, trying to get
So
into a low down payment.
It's challenging.
And if
that's all stuff you can't control, right? When it's with the condos having to qualify,
right,
you can't
But-
manipulate
but
that.
the
You
but the
can't
problem
change it.
is it isn't very easy for realtors. Now I don't know about mortgage brokers. Mike knows I struggle with this a lot, and I'm always bugging him. He keeps telling me the same thing over and over. He's been very patient. I still don't get it.
I don't roll my eyes. When we're in person.
I'm sure. No, you
Yeah.
give me double
No.
fingers is what you do. You don't go. You don't roll the eyes.
I never do that.
But,
I've never done that.
Maybe one
To your
finger,
face.
right? At least one finger at one time. But
Which finger though? Oh wait.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom.
So if a condo, for example, could not qualify for a low down payment, which
Yep.
is 5% or 3.5% or 3%. So 3.5% FHA, 3 to 5% for condo. Right?
I mean, we're talking about anything under 25% down, right? That's the threshold for whether you're doing the full review versus the limited review. So if you're putting 23% down, it would be a challenge for
Right.
certain buildings.
Right. So what a lot of people that are on a budget, they see the low price condos for the prices are lower than everything else they could buy. Single family,
Mm-hmm.
Compared to single family, it looks very affordable. But with single family, you might be able to put as little. And let's take the vets out because the vets get zero. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're doing a regular deal and you're not a vet, you can do with a single family home or a townhome, you could do 3% down, you could do 3.5% down, you could do 5% down and still qualify for the loan. But with condos, if the condo isn't qualified financially enough to meet federal standards, then what is the minimum they should be budgeting to put on a down payment on a condo? It's 25 or 30%, right?
25%.
Right. And it could be 30, you said, right?
If it's a second home or an investment property, 30% is that threshold.
So let's just
I'll call it the easy way and the hard way, right? So if you got 25% on a primary, you're going to do the easy way, right? As far as the condo approval. If it's less than 25, it's the hard way.
Right. So 25%, if you were buying, let's say your budget, just to make it easy numbers off the top of my head, let's say you budgeted $400,000, you would have to put $100,000 down on a $400,000 house. Now, if you had a $400,000 townhome, you'd only have to put $15,000 down roughly, right? 3.5% times 4.
Right.
Right. So that comes out to roughly $15,000. $15,000 versus $100,000. So a lot of first-time home buyers, they think, oh, I'll just buy a condo. Well, you have to have a lot of cash or find a condo that will meet this low down payment financing. And it's not easy to find those.
It's not easy. You got to do the legwork up front so that you're not getting into contract that has no chance of closing, right? So we make sure that we're reviewing the condos case by case ideally before you even go look at it, right? Look at it online, identify the property, give me the info, and then we do some research. And I can basically, at this point, the way I categorize, I'm like, okay, green light, red light, or yellow light. And if it's green light, we can do it no matter what. If it's red light, we can't do it no matter what. And if it's yellow light, then we got to investigate.
And what the federal government wants to make sure when they're allowing these low down payment loans, the reason why they're so restrictive about going with these condos is during the bust of both, 06 through 09, condos were one of the worst hit for defaults and foreclosures. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people walked away from those condos. So the federal government's like, I don't want to back these loans anymore. Right. So if we are going to back them, then we want to make sure there's certain financial standards to know the community has enough money in their reserves to deal with stuff, right? That their insurance is insured the right way.
It's also kind of those thresholds at 25 and 30% is a Florida thing. The rest of the country, it's 10%.
Right. And the reason why is because we were ground zero for the
condo,
for the real estate crisis.
Yeah.
So we were it. So we're being, we took advantage of the system back in the day, and now we're being punished for it ever since.
Florida way.
Yeah, we're Florida, right? Just another one reason that we're the best, best in everything.
And the other, I guess, it's kind of how you opened this
Florida,
up, Jim, was the FHA versus conventional.
Yes.
So the reason FHA is important, let's just say for one reason or the other, FHA is the loan program that best suits your scenario. So you should be doing FHA if you can. Well, if you're doing a condo, I would just say, like, it has to already be on FHA's approved list. And I think in Palm Beach County, last time I looked, there was like 4 condo projects in all of Palm
in
Beach
the whole
County
county.
Wow.
that were on FHA's
Jeez.
approved list. So,
And-
you kind of like eliminate FHA.
And
if
how
your
many were
condo is shot
55 and over? Those
Yeah,
4?
like, and what price point are
Yeah.
is some of those at? So it's
Yeah.
it's if FHA is what the loan program you're going to go with, then you would just eliminate condos from that search.
And
For the most part.
And what you try to do is if you're blocked out if you can't do the condo and then you're blocked out for the single family home because it's just a
Price
a
point.
price point, then you're going to really look for villas and townhomes.
Yeah.
Villa.
And those can be great. I already have a couple of ideas for both Michael, and by the way, Sophia and Ricardo are the other buyers that have the same last name as Michael's.
Yeah.
Michael's last name, and they're all trying to do the same thing in roughly the same price point ish, right?
Ish.
So what I'm going to try to do is see if we can find townhomes and villas that will meet their needs. And like some of these townhomes that I'm thinking about, they're ubiquitous all over South Florida. And they do really nice appreciation. They do grow in value. Like when prices are going up, they grow nice and healthy too.
Awesome.
So I'm really looking forward to helping them. And Mike's going to be the mortgage person, and then we're going to train them. So this week is all about training them from soup to nuts. They got approved from Mike. Mike gave them the app. I'm going to show them how to use the app. That
Mhm.
app is awesome.
So good.
And then I'm going to sit down and explain taxes and HOA or condo fees.
Mhm.
If we do condo, and explain what that means, and also how insurance affects your payments. And then we're going to set up live searches for them, and then we're going to start looking at property. So I'm really looking forward to helping Sophia, Ricardo, and then Michael and D. I think it isn't D. That was somebody else I met yesterday. What's Michael's wife's name?
I could look, but I can't pull it.
I don't want to pull it up
Yeah.
right now. But Michael and his wife can't wait to meet you on Monday.
Can I ask you
So-
a quick question?
Yes,
You
please.
brought up the app, and
Mhm.
Not on this show, John. No question.
You're
Stop
not
that
allowed
right
to
now.
do that
I
anymore.
actually got a couple questions, but they're not really related. App related. Mike Rao, mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. So I've recently run a few properties through that app,
Mhm.
and my question is because I never really paid attention. Does that thing update the current rate, or do I need to get an update?
That's a good point.
So I will update the rate. So I have to do it manually.
Okay.
And I think I made an adjustment on yours when I just refreshed it most recently.
Recently?
Did you notice?
And then that's why I'm bringing it up. I did not pay attention to what the rate is, but it might have been like
7.
I was 6'9" or
It
something
was,
like
yeah, I
that.
think it was 6.875. And I
Yeah.
think I bumped it to 7.
The last time I looked, it wasn't a 7 in the first number.
Oh.
So, yeah. But that was
I can fix that. Don't
was
worry.
a little bit of time.
Yeah,
watch this.
and it's one of those things, right? The purpose of the app, especially like Johnny's a really good case where we talk about like just kind of have access to this information so that you can gauge if the stars are beginning to align, right? And you're looking at various properties, and you're not like actively out looking at homes, but you're casually house hunting,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Almost
We're-
like window shopping a little bit, but
a lot
you're
of
more
it.
than because you got the money, you brought your wallet with you,
We have the plan,
right?
yes, but we're waiting for the
Yeah.
alignment.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So it is important that rate is, it's not going to be like, okay, if we're locking in today, or maybe it is actually, if you're locking in today, this is what it would be. But a week could go by and that could fluctuate a little bit. So I have to adjust it so that it's gives you accurate enough information for your decision making. But of course, it's an estimate, right?
Yeah.
So
What a great tool though to jump
Yeah.
on with.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it's an excellent tool. And what I love about that tool is that if I have to turn an offer on the weekend or late at night, a lot of times you can't get in touch with the loan officer or mortgage broker for most companies. So you have to turn in some kind of loan approval with the offer, right? So what you do is you take whatever loan approval you had from the last situation, which might be a higher number than what you want to turn in. And I always feel like that's not a good thing for a buyer's agent to do for the buyer. So if you're turning in an offer
'cause
at
then
four,
they know you can
Yeah,
spend a whole lot more.
if you turn an offer at 425 and the loan approvals for 500 and the house is on the market for 450,
Yeah, we're gonna
right?
work. Yeah.
You're negotiating against yourself.
Yeah.
And so I always try to, I always want to have the correct number of the offer we're turning in. So with Mike's app, I don't have to worry about that. If I plug in the numbers and we get the loan approval, I can print out that I can print out the loan approval from the app,
Hit a button.
and then turn it in, and it's good, right, Mike? That is a good approval.
100%. Yeah. If I've got you in the app, I've done your pre-approval. I know your limits, and I set up those limits in the app. So the way the app works is I set up essentially a max payment and a max cash amount. And as you're plugging in those numbers, if you exceed either of those two limits,
It gives you the red light.
You can't print the pre-approval.
Nope.
Yeah, you're not
And if
even
you're-
allowed to.
Yeah, if you're within my limits, you can print your pre-approval. So I call it when I'm talking to people, I got a snazzy little phrase just so it's very memorable. It's a combination payment calculator, closing cost estimator, pre-approval letter generator.
I love it.
Well, speaking of that, I love that. Let's go ahead and take a break, and I'm going to talk about a new thing I came up with.
Can I ask one more quick question, just because it ties into FHA real quick, and then we'll
Yeah,
break?
please, yeah.
So you guys were talking FHA for potential these two buyers with the same last name. Is there a reality that Franny and Freddie could go quote unquote private? And if that happens, are they still government backed? And would it still be a low down payment option?
Jeez. Okay. So I should know the history of them. They were private, right?
They were private.
They were private. And then with the crisis, the government kind of had to intervene, right? To basically, and so right now they're pseudo governmental, meaning they're always going to be regulated by federal law.
They make money. They're a
definitely make money.
for-profit. They're a for-profit. Unlike other government institutions, that's a for-profit.
Right. But the federal government has some control, some controlling interest, call it right now. So they could go back to private, and I think nothing would change much about how they set the rules for lending, right? So they set the guidelines. They're just like a big risk management operation, right? They basically set the rules for lending. Same thing the FHA does, same thing the VA does, same thing USDA does. They set the rules for lending based on default rates, pretty much,
right?
And they'll know like how far they can, allow. They've got parameters where they're widening or narrowing those parameters for approval.
But I believe, and I might be wrong of this, part of the reason why we got in that really bad jam in 06 through 09, where banks were too big to fail and everything, was that
I hated that.
They created those non-conforming loans,
right?
And
subprime. And subprime lending was not Fannie and Freddie. Never was. It was always
right. So I get a little nervous. I think that's the backbone. It was proven that was one of the backbones, if you will. I know I'm talking about multiple backbones, but that crisis we had showed how important real estate market is to our national economy, because that collapsed and then everything collapsed around it.
It also proved that all the big pockets can gamble all they want.
Oh, they're gluttons. They're gluttons.
We're gonna bail them
too
out.
Big to, too big to fail.
Will bail. You can gamble all you want, and if you lose, we got you.
I always look at Wall Street and like those banking, the big investment banking institutions, kind of like pigs at a trough, and they'll just eat until they die. Right? Until they die. They're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They don't worry about tomorrow. It's like, how much money can I make today? And
pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered.
Yeah, there you go. So, I don't know what will happen with that, Johnny. I don't know if it would necessarily be a good thing or bad thing yet. I just would like to have more control over people that are in an industry that can affect the national economy on such a huge level. Well, if they were just a widget industry and widgets weren't that important, I wouldn't care so much.
Well, and I think if they knew that, if I gamble and lose, I'm on my own, and they be in the industry,
they would
then it may be a little different beast.
Yeah,
they know they got this huge parachute called the American taxpayers. That screw it.
Yeah, so we're gonna get into that on the flip side. And there was something. Oh, I wanted to talk about, since Mike was talking about what did you call that app again? Tell me what you said.
Your app?
Yeah, your description. Yeah, I forgot it because it was too many words. Right. It was too many words.
It's a combination payment calculator, closing cost estimator, pre-approval letter generator.
Okay, yeah, there you go. So on the flip side, we're going to talk about it isn't acronyms. We're going to talk about my two concepts. You might have heard me talk about the Maui Wowie before.
I've had it recently.
Well, I came up with a new term last week that I'm very proud of myself with is called the Lowy Noey.
Oh no.
And we're going to talk about the Maui Wowie and Lowy Noey on the
Was there any
the flip
Maui
side.
Wowie involved in your brilliant idea?
Unfortunately, no, but it should have been. I was sitting with the customer when we were doing it. I came up with the term. I go, I like that.
What
I'm
did
going
you
to
call
start
it again?
using it. The Lowy Noey.
Lowy Noey.
Yeah, so we're going to explain what Maui Wowie and Lowy Noey is. And if you're a buyer or seller, you got to know these terms.
And is this PG or is it?
It's
a little-
definitely PG.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
it's
Just making sure.
Yeah.
And I can tell you about 2 innies and 1 outie. It's more like PG-13.
Wow.
Yeah.
And before we just take the break real quick, just a shout out to Daryl. Mike and I got Daryl up to South Carolina, selling his house down there. He got a house up there. He's telling me it's 17 degrees up there. So for Johnny,
Come
just
on
so
back
you
home,
know.
Daryl. Come on
Yeah.
back.
Oh,
I don't think he's complaining. I don't
Oh.
think he's complaining. I think he
likes
likes it. Yeah, he was saying, I see you're in the 40s down there.
You like 17.
So thanks for reaching out, Daryl. Keep on the show. Love you. Talk to you later.
Yeah, be well. We do a quick little reset. We get back at it. You're more than welcome to join us. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you want to dive into the conversation at hand, absolutely. Do not be shy. It's the 25th today?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, good. Just to prove we're live. That's my little proof right there. Hey, we're live. It's the 25th of January. 877-927-6969. You can jump in. It's a 4-minute reset. Jimothy will line you up. We'll get right to your phone call if you're there. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, I totally understand. You can go to floridatalkrealestate.com. You'll have access to the entire team. These are pros, experts in their field. And you really hear example after example every Saturday on the radio station here, how they work cohesively together. Pick up the phone, instant answers, making sure we can get done what you're trying to get done. Buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. Anything that touches the world of real estate, I got a professional for you at floridatalkrealestate.com. Write it down, share it. Know it, use it, love it, share it. It's going to change lives, I promise. floridatalkrealestate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Thank you for being with us every Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
We'll be your friend. Follow us at Real Radio 92.1 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Here's the latest with weather on Real Radio.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins, CBS 12 News. Chilly today with temperatures in the mid-50s across the area and additional cloud cover into the early afternoon. Then a clearing sky by this evening, turning cold tonight. Temperatures drop into the upper 30s inland and 40s at the coast by the start of Saturday morning, with afternoon highs remaining in the upper 60s.
This report is sponsored by Audible. Tap into your well-being with Audible audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Expand your life with expert insight and motivation for better health, habits, relationships, finance, and more. Start listening free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, Not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
You're listening to Real Radio 92.1, and we are an iHeart radio station. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
There it is. Toll free 877-927-6969. If you do dial in, you're more than welcome. First voice you'll hear, this is Jimothy, our producer extraordinaire. How are you, my dude?
Hello. I'm doing well. Johnny, how are you?
I'm excellent. Freezing a little bit, but aside from that, everything is A-okay.
Oh, good morning to you.
Well, good morning to you as well, my friend. Hi, everybody. Your pal, Johnny C. I got Mike Rao. He's the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. He's right there to my left.
I am.
How are you?
I'm left here.
You are.
Boom.
I don't know where you
Doing
are.
good.
If you're streaming with us, live stream every Saturday on Florida Talk Real Estate's Facebook page, Florida Talk Real Estate LLC on YouTube. That's home of a ton of informational chunk videos. We kind of square out a little bit, like Brady Bunchy. I don't know. I think you might be to my right.
Ooh,
According to
I'm to your left.
what we see.
Raise your left
wow.
hand. Yeah. And if I do my right, we're almost,
Nice.
we're high fiving.
Nice.
Air five.
High five and motherfucker.
So technically, I'm to your left, which is in reality, I'm to
For
your
real?
left.
You are, yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But I'm on the right of the screen.
Also, found out during the break that we are celebrating a birthday this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we are.
Celebrate.
Yeah. So celebratory that we found out during the break.
I'm very quiet about my birthday.
I'm the
Well,
same way.
Somebody's putting your business out there all over Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, your mom.
Oh,
She
my
said
mom.
happy
I was
birthday.
like, happy birthday, mom.
Say,
Love you.
I'm the same way. And if I get like text messages for birthday, I know that they're on Facebook because Facebook like tells everybody. Yeah. I'm not on Facebook, so I didn't get that. Hey, it's
Oh,
Jimmy's
yeah.
birthday.
Yeah.
Do you write long replies to happy birthdays? Or you just give them like thumbs up?
I'm usually like, hey, thank you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You know, thanks
Yeah.
for, take time to even send a text,
Mhm.
because that's, I don't know, birthdays to me.
When you get to
Kinda
Jimmy's age,
If
Right.
you
Right.
get
Yeah,
to Jimmy's
if you
age,
can make
if you
it that
can
far.
make it that far.
I mean, think about it, Jim. Back in the, I was watching, did you ever watch The Tutors? Like the Henry
Oh yeah,
VIII
yeah.
Mhm.
series?
Great show.
Picture. Yeah, good show. Good
Yeah.
show. But, those guys, if they're living to 60 years old,
They're
that was a
ancient.
miracle.
Yeah, they
That
were
was a
ancient
miracle.
back
They're
then.
dying,
Yeah.
women dying in childbirth. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's pretty crazy.
Jimmy
know-
D's birthday today. That's
Yeah,
Jim
probably
DePola.
one of the best birthday gifts was probably the show because we started right before my birthday, like just a couple weeks before my birthday. And I was such a big fan of ZZR.
Yeah.
A really big Love Doctor fans, Nights of Real Radio fan. I love that. I used to love when I was driving really late at night and listen to you. All those drunks. It was so much fun listening to you guys because you didn't know who the hell was going to call up.
That was a wild ride.
Really, you know what? I didn't think about this. Remember, I know you're going to remember this, but during COVID, when you did your YouTube channel for a little while in the
Yeah.
backyard, what did they call
Speaking of
that?
drunks.
Yeah.
in a way, that was kind of like an offshoot of Nights at Real Radio because everybody was just getting toasted and having fun.
It was late and drinking. Yeah,
It
including
was
the
a lot
host.
of fun.
Yes.
So
That's been the problem with this time slot that we've been in. Like we can't
oh
get
yeah,
any
if we
drunks
did it at
calling in.
night, we could be drinking while we're doing that.
Right. And you think we could? It's Florida.
I know.
So like I think a Ramus Fizz would be very apropos for
Okay.
this setting.
Bloodies.
Bloodies.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Mimosas.
yeah, yeah.
Any kind of Bailey's and some coffee.
Sure.
Like there's a few things that we
I mean, cold beer is fine with me too.
I have
it
a
is
little
football
Clamato
season.
in it and be
Yeah.
like, good morning.
Yeah.
I haven't been telling you,
What
but
time do you
this
start
isn't
drinking
just Dunkin' Donuts.
What's in
It's
that?
just
And
not
thanks for
just
making that.
Dunkin'. So
what you want? A little Coors Light? I mean, is that breakfast?
Sure, that worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but thank you for the birthday wishes and everything. I really appreciate it.
What
I
are you
wanted
doing
to
for your birthday?
I'm actually going to go to. I wasn't planning on this, but another friend of mine is born the same day, so he's having a birthday party. So I'm going to go over there and wish him a happy birthday. So that's what I'm going to do.
That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about Maui Wowie Lowy Noe, my new
Noe.
tune, my Lowy Noe. I was so happy when he came up with this last week, and I was talking to somebody on the phone. I was like, "You got to figure out." And I was describing what he got to figure it out. And I go, I got to call it something. And I was sitting there. I was like, Lowy Noe. I was like, this is going to work out great. So,
Is that like your limit? Should we guess what it is?
well,
is it not
let's
like
start
that?
off with Maui Wowie first, okay? Because I've talked about that before.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of stole the Maui Wowie in a way and then tweaked it. It used to just be MAO, know your MAO. And I got that from a coach I used to be trained by, Than Merrill, who is pretty well known in the investment industry and had a TV show for many, many years.
Van
called-
Merrill used to advertise on his radio station.
Yeah,
if
he
I'm not
did.
mistaken.
Actually, he did when he
Yeah.
used to come down for the seminars. He used to
Yep,
advertise
he
down
did.
here, and he was part of Flip This House,
Yeah.
A&E channel.
Yep.
And really great guy and very legitimate. And he's one of the good guys in that industry who really tells you the truth and not just trying to take your money. Right? I'm really big fan of Than. So anyway, Dan taught me when I was an investor, when you buy a property, you can get very emotionally involved in the deal. Like all of a sudden the negotiations become, you forget what you're trying to accomplish, which is buy the property where you can make a profit from it. So he always said, don't play games on that because a lot of people play mental mind games with themselves as to what their maximum allowable offer is, the MAO. MAO. So he goes, so when you go into negotiations, before you even wait for the counter, because if you're doing it right, you're going to get countered, right? Because you're going so low, that you got to know how high you're willing to go. And if it's a penny more than that, you don't care. So when I tell buyers about that, I tell buyers, so I created the Maui Wowie. I go, know your Maui Wowie, because people remember that, right? And I go, so when you're turning in an offer, you got to know what your maximum allowable offer is. And if it's a penny more than that, you don't want to do it. But don't short yourself. So you could do this. The house is on the market for $650,000. You're turning in $590 because you're hoping to get a good deal, right? But you're willing to go up to $650? You're willing to go up to $640, but not a penny more than $640 because maybe the roof's bad or something, right? Then you're back and forth in negotiations, and the next thing you know, you're buying it for $650 or $645 because you don't, quote, want to lose the deal, right? That might not be a smart thing. The other thing that could happen is you're in a competitive situation, you turn in the $590, but you're willing to pay $640. They don't even have a bidding war, and then I have to call the buyer back and I'm saying, I'm sorry, your $590 didn't work. They took somebody else's offer. And they go, well, what did it sell for? And I say $635. And they bang the table. It's like, darn it, I would have paid that. Well, you weren't playing real with your Maui Wowie, right? So know your Maui Wowie, your maximum allowable offer. So then I was talking to a seller last week or the week before, and we were expecting an offer to come in. And I had a feeling it wasn't going to be an offer that we wanted to accept directly, that we were going to counter. And I said, what you got to do is, because with this particular property, we're getting some action, but not a lot of action. So the fact that we were getting an offer, even if it might come in lower than we wanted, we had to take it very seriously and see if we can pull them up. But we had to pull them up to a certain magic number, right? Well, what's that magic number?
Right.
The Lowy Noe,
The Lowy
right?
Noe.
It's the lowest amount that you'll take for this house and feel satisfied. and not, and be satisfied with the number, not being disappointed. What's your lowy noey? And be real about that. And also make sure that it's in the range of what everybody else is paying in that neighborhood for your size house, your condition, your features, right?
Right.
But you got to pick your lowy noey now, right? So I'm working with this one family that got an offer a couple days ago, and now we're working on the lowy noey. So when we do the counter, we know what's going on. So know your lowy noey and know your Maui wow. That's
awesome.
the lowy noey. So,
Now, if you were in a meeting, if you were in a listing appointment and Jim started saying that stuff, how would you react to it?
How well
Like,
do I know
you have to
Jim?
be a certain personality, I think.
Everybody
That's
laughs.
going to resonate.
Everybody
Yeah,
laughs. Now, whether they like it or not, I
Right.
don't know, but they all laugh.
It is perfectly Jim DePola is what it is.
It's
Hello,
going
I
to
know.
depend on how much
True.
other baby talk you do during the insurance. Yeah.
It is that brass.
Is your woofy
Right.
good? Goody woody?
It is that
Yeah.
brass.
How old is your woofy woofy? Roofy woofy?
That's so
How much
funny.
quirky turkey do we have to do over here? It's that brass tacks. Like,
Right.
this is the path with a professional with that little bit of Jimmy D.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little spice, little added.
Right.
It's
to
not
this.
curb
curb
little-
appeal. It's
Yeah.
Kirby
Yeah.
Werby or
Give it
something.
a
So
Kirby a Perby.
look, that's the only two weird terms I
Yeah.
made up, and I'm sticking
love
with them, and I like them.
I like the
it's a
sometimes
concept.
Jim, when you said the Maui Wow, or when you said the MAO, I was like, okay, yeah, Jim uses that term with me from time to time. And ours is usually, it's not an investment decision. It's, hey, we want to get this house. We have a maximum qualifying payment. How do we buy this house and stay under our max, or kind of push it up? And so when you're pushing it, it's like, oh, well, maybe we can get insurance at this number. Or, hey, we have to have property. But when it's a specific home, it's like, okay, the only thing that can move is now the purchase price and or the down payment, right? And so
And I do use the maximum allowable offer for that too. So
Yeah.
if I have a customer that's really interested in a house and they're using Mike's app and they're getting rejected, right?
Yeah.
Either because they don't have enough for down payment or the mortgage payment's too high. Let's just stick with the mortgage payment being too high.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is, so let's say the unit is selling for 450, right? Well, then you're going to, I can't buy it at 450 because I'm $237 off of my mortgage payment. So then you go from 450 to 435. Oh, now I'm only $87. I'm making it up. I'm
Yeah.
only $87 away. Then you keep dropping it. You can drop by $1,000, $500, $200 to get that exact number. And then you just say that whatever you get the loan approval for, you don't worry about what the list price is. That's the maximum allowable
And
offer
it's-
you can make on that
Yeah.
deal.
it's actually somewhat liberating
Mm-hmm.
as far as negotiation tactics go. Because essentially, like, if you can't walk away, you're not in a good negotiating position, right? Which is kind of what you're talking about. Like, you have to just know the max number you're going to do. Well, this time it's kind of forced on you, and you say, hey, listen, we have to buy it. This is our highest offer. This is our MAO. This is our max offer.
Yeah.
Highest and best, right?
I'm
Right?
just thinking of me calling up the
Yeah, this
listing
is our-
agent.
this
Go,
is our
this is our
Maui
Maui Wowie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
You
Everybody.
should. That would work, Jim. I think that would actually work, because presumably at that point,
Can you imagine me telling an agent
you-
this is
yeah.
their Maui
This is
Wowie?
guys,
Maui
What
Wowie.
the-
we're coming at you. This is our Maui Wowie, right?
Like, I'm a big fan of the Pakalolo. Let's go.
Yeah. Jim's like, I don't use highest and best. That's too boring, right?
No,
is
Bring
our-
your Maui
this is our
Wowie.
Maui
Yeah,
Wowie.
bring your Maui Wowie, right?
So yeah, and guess what? The app is really, really helpful
Oh,
in that
yeah.
scenario, because you just go, you can do it yourself, right? Like, okay, here's my limit. What purchase price do I need to put it at in order to get this house?
Now, Jim, did you copyright that Maui Wowie?
No,
Because
I haven't.
Mike might
Maybe I
rip it
should.
off and
Yeah,
put it
there
on
you
his
go.
app.
I should.
He did just email himself.
Mhm.
I think that
Yeah.
works, right?
I'm just going to use the alternative
know-
spelling. It
you know-
sounds exactly the same.
when you don't get your stuff when you write something and you don't get it copyrighted,
Yeah.
so it's protected. Do you know what they used to teach me when I used to learn
just
how to
fake
write
it.
screenplays? No, you take whatever you wrote. This is back before iPhones and everything,
Oh.
right?
You
You
make a
You would take a copy of it, you send it to yourself in the mail, and you don't open up the mail, and you keep it. And that shows that you created that
On that
document or that
because it had the
product.
delivery stamp.
because the delivery stamp, and
That's
that's a
third
way
party.
to, now I think you'd be better off doing it the more traditional way. But that's one of the ways they said if you're on a budget, you could do that. That way you're protecting your stuff.
You
So if
can't afford a
anybody ever
lawyer.
stole, yeah, you can't
Right?
afford a
Just
lawyer.
mail it to
So you
yourself.
send it to yourself and you
Nice.
don't open it. Isn't that wild?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
And I used to say
It's
it on the
the-
radio all the time,
yeah.
the email. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's, you
Yeah.
just advance from the snail mail and
Exactly.
it's instant stamping.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, right now you could use oh geez, why is the name escaping me? But the cryptocurrency, the digital tokens.
Bitcoin?
Bitcoin.
No, the digital token. What
Digital. NFT?
yeah, the NFT, right? You
NFTs.
basically just make an NFT of that at the time. And then
Yeah,
it's,
that's
then
true.
it's it can't
Yeah,
be
that's
changed.
true.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's also dated.
I am so glad I invested in those meta universes and the NFTs because I made so much money off of that, right? You heard everybody how much money they made off those NFTs, right? I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
there,
a little
right?
bit,
It's
yeah.
Some
like-
people made millions.
Some did.
yeah,
Yeah,
at the
sure.
beginning, but
Yeah.
the ones that held on to it,
Oh,
what do you think ever happened to those monkey images? Remember the
They're still
stupid
there. They're
monkey
still there.
images? Yeah, and how much money are they making
there's
for
still a
buying
market
those?
for them.
Yeah, right.
Listen,
outright.
Jim, those are long term. You're holding. Hold.
I think I'd rather just get buy the rights to Magilla Gorilla or something and have the rights for the
Yeah.
cartoon or something,
That's
right?
awesome.
And have all the things. But we're going to get into market update on the flip side, but we're going to start a little bit right now. So I like doing this, and this has been very interesting watching when I started this. How many properties are on for sale right now? Residential properties that are for sale right now in South Florida. And when we started this back in September, we were in like the mid 40s, like 45, 47,000. I think the last time we checked, we were either at 56,000, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
was like mid 50s. Yeah, 54, something like that.
We're up to 58,560 now. It keeps going up.
In a
Since
week?
September. Yeah, this is what did we check it
We
last
checked
week?
it last week. Yeah.
Wow, then this probably went up 1,700 to 2,500 properties.
Listings.
Yeah, listings. So that means, and these are active listings. So that means these are properties that went on the market. And even though we had pending sales that month, our inventory is still growing.
Mm-hmm.
So the inventory is still growing, guys. And I didn't do this on purpose. I just kind of fell into this number to find out how many short sales and foreclosures we had.
Right.
But now I keep seeing this inventory growing. So it's very interesting. And there is a article out there talking about how the party's over for Texas and Florida, for all the people just dying to move here, that it's not happening anymore, and that a lot of people are deciding not to move to Florida or Texas. They're not deciding to move anywhere else. A lot of them, I think, are holding tight. But the reasons why is the hurricanes. Now we got the snow. I'm joking about that. But we had the hurricanes. It was a big deal. The hurricanes, not because of insurance, just for the headache of living in a hurricane zone. Then you've got the insurance costs, that we're dealing with. We're 2.5 times higher.
The tornadoes.
Right. Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then of course the high prices that we have compared to the median income.
Yes.
So between all those, people aren't seeing as much positive signs about living here. So that's why I think the inventory is growing. And
With the growth of the inventory, where are we at now as months of inventory?
we're going to get into that on the flip side because we're going to get into all the stats because I got the annual stats for South Florida. They came out on Thursday. So it's really going to be interesting. We're really going to take a hard look at inventory, months of days on market, months of available inventory, and we're going to go into all of that. But what I did want to do just to give a little taste. So we have 58,560 properties for sale right now, residential, and we have 480 short sales and foreclosures right now out of the 58,000 properties. That's about where we were last week. We were in the high fours last week. So we're not seeing a dramatic increase of short sales and foreclosures coming on the market.
Predominantly driven by condos, I'm guessing.
Yes, and what I noticed the last time I looked, a lot of the foreclosures, not so much the short sales, it was more of an equal miss, but the foreclosures were many, many, many condos. And I'm sure that's the trend because people can't afford these increase in fees and stuff. And the sad part is a lot of these people probably didn't have to do a foreclosure. They could have done a short sale, walked away debt free. With the foreclosure, if you let the bank take the house, and you don't do anything, you just roll up your hands and just say, take it. I'm not doing anything anymore. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to contest you in court. Don't think that you're getting away with it. Any money that's owed, they have the legal right to come after you. I think it's, wow, it's been so long, Johnny. Was it 7 years, 10
That's
years?
a long time. I
Yeah,
wanna say 10 feels
maybe
right.
8 years. We used to know this when we did short sales and loan mods, like
All the time.
all the time. But that was so many years ago. Thank God.
I feel like 10 years. I
Yeah.
You're
remember
saying
being
within 10 years they can
They
file
They could
a
wait.
claim?
If
Yeah.
it is 10 years, they could wait to the 9th year and file a claim. Say, hey, you owe me $170,000, and it
And
could
sure.
be 8 years later, 9 years later.
And I'm sure some enterprising,
Ooh,
geez,
nice.
some enterprising company or individuals can be like, hey, you guys have let this thing lay for 9 years. How about we file this lawsuit on your behalf? Like, we're going to go after all this, potential debt collecting,
Yep.
right?
And
type of
and the
thing.
bank will just outsource it to somebody
Yeah.
else. That's a possibility. And the other thing is that you don't have to do that if you negotiate with the bank while you're in trouble with the bank, and you could do it by yourself if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it. It's bringing a gun to a knife fight. But if you hire the right
So bringing
professionals,
a gun, yeah.
gun to a knife to a gunfight. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got. I wish it was a gun to knife fight. But
Well, that's
thank you, Mike.
That's
So
outside the rules.
That's right. It's a knife fight.
Right.
so you could walk away. There's a potential for you to negotiate with the bank, give the keys back to the bank, and it's called a short sale, where you could walk away debt free, and you get a letter from the bank stating they'll never come after you again for the losses. Okay, you might even be able to do that with your condo board.
I was going to say, how many
if you do it right?
associations? You said, I should just do a deep dive into because you can look all the lawsuits, right, on public records.
Yeah.
You can see the cases opened, foreclosure cases. I'm wondering how many of those are bank initiated
versus
or
condo
association.
Yeah,
mentioned that last
that's
week,
a
too.
good. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about that last week. So, very, very interesting. But only 400 in short sales and foreclosures
Very low
active on the
percentage.
market. So, what is 470 out of 58,000? Let's see, 470. I want to just see what percentage that is. 470
It's like a
divided
tenth of
by
a percent.
58,000.
1/10 of 1%.
Oh my God, 0.008%.
Yeah, so
8/10. No,
Eight
8/100.
Yeah, not even a 10.
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's
it's
just
a little
showing-
bit under 1/10 of a percent.
We are so low compared to historic norms for foreclosures and short sales. It's normally about 1 to 3% of the market.
Yeah, but it's early in the year, Jim.
We got time.
Well, and what it does is it totally like highlights the reality when we had our bust in 08. If they'd have just made it so people could afford their payments, all it would have took, those foreclosures wouldn't have happened. Just make it so they can pay their payment.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Remember-
or even what I think, if you run into financial difficulty now, like, don't forget, guys, call your lender
Yes, talk to
before
your
you
lender.
start missing payments,
Yes,
and
talk
ask
to
for
them.
some help, because
Yes, they will give it to you a
think
lot of
you can
times.
still get like forbearance. I don't know the terms of it. It's like, we had the disaster one, like
Right.
3 months, and then you owe. But I think it's different still. I
There-
think but call. Like,
Some of the banks are very flexible with you.
Yeah.
I've talked to customers from this show that have called me up and tell me they're in trouble and got forbearances like
a year,
recently, and very
like
recently.
12 months.
Like beneficial forbearances though, because again, when we looked into it during disaster time, it could help you in the now, but you had a
Right.
big balloon payment that was due, and if you can't afford
right.
$2,000 a month right now, how are you going to be able to hand them $8,000 in 4 months?
Well, there's truth to that, but that's why you need, and there's everything you're saying is true. That's why you need a professional to go over everything to see
how it really
works. Because
Right.
your bank isn't going to tell you. They are going to tell you everything, but that doesn't mean you're going to understand everything they're going to tell you.
You've
So
also
having somebody to interpret and
Right.
ask questions you don't even know to ask, that's the big thing.
You don't know what
That's
you
the
don't
thing,
know.
because you may be told something and it's not the entire story, or you're hearing different than what they're actually saying, and so
Yes.
yeah. But
Or
I guess the moral of
interpreting-
the story, if you're in trouble like that, you're not going to be able to make a mortgage payment. You got to call.
You
You
do.
got to
So-
make that call.
So let's go ahead. Thank you, Mike. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we're going to talk about the market update, the end wrap up market. The reports finally came out. So did South Florida see an increase in appreciation this year? Did we see a decrease?
A decrease in appreciation, or
yeah, that's depreciation. That's called depreciation.
Went down.
Well, actually, that's
probably.
right. You
Less
could have
appreciation.
you can have appreciation that went down a little bit.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
decrease of appreciation
compared to the prior year.
Thank you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Have my back on that
I
one.
like that.
That's my birthday gift. There you go.
So what's the question? Did
So-
the 6 counties have
Did
appreciation or-
prices stay stable? Did we see the median sales price go down? Did it go up? Where did we stand as far as the number of sales? Is our inventory growing or not growing? And months of inventory available. So we're going to go into all of it. It's kind of interesting. There's a lot of stuff, and wait till we get to the appreciation, depreciation numbers, because
Mhm.
I ran the numbers for Palm Beach County 4 different ways, and I got 4 different answers whether we had appreciation or depreciation.
your math
this year.
teacher would be like,
Yeah, so we're going to
see your
talk
work,
about
Jeff.
those 4 things and say, what do you think? Which of those would you look at as being the right number?
You using like Common Core or something? What are you doing?
No,
I know, right?
He's the
your
it's
work.
almost like a publicist, right? Like you figure out the combination that gets the story that you want to tell, right? So you've got 4 different formulas.
right.
I'm saying
Right, I'm
publicist,
trying to
right?
figure
Like
it,
your
Yeah, like a publicist.
yeah,
I know,
person
like
who
a
speaks on your
public
behalf.
relations
Yeah,
person,
yeah,
somebody.
exactly.
Yeah.
You just find the narrative, find the formula that fits your narrative, and then spit it out there. And it's
In a
you know,
way,
it's
in a way that's very
It
true.
is.
So we're going to see the different ways to look at what happened in the market this year. Because I was just talking to a guy yesterday, and he thinks that the market's still pretty strong, like super strong. And I'm like, nah, nah. It isn't horrible, but nah.
What is strong?
This is not a market to be pushing the limits and see what you're going to get for most people. Not everybody,
Right,
but
there's
most people.
unicorns out there,
Yeah,
of course. But
So let's take a look at this. It's going to be fun to do the deep dive.
excellent. We still got an hour or so remaining for you here. Thank you for being with us. Always remember, Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com. We call it the one-stop real estate shop for a reason, because this is a team put together, pros, experts in their field, and they work cohesively together to get what you're trying to get done right for you and your family. I'm talking buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. Literally anything that touches the process of the world of real estate, we can handle you. And then I'm talking about the most professional way. These people are amazing. That's why we're here every Saturday, to give you the lane that you need when you're trying to get something done for you and your family. There's lots of options out there. At least vet the team. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Know it, use it, love it, share it. You can change your life. You can change lives in general with FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. 4-minute break. We're back at it on a Saturday. It's Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.
Be like the smart kids, like the summa cum laude of your workplace.
What?
Tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, Not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Camaronets, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to join us on this Saturday, 877-927-6969. Questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate? You're more than welcome to dive in. Want to just take part of the conversation at hand? Don't be shy. First voice you hear is our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy.
Hello.
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 How are you?
Doing well.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. Good. Johnny C, that's me, your old buddy, your old pal. Mike Rouse with us on this Saturday. He's the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Hello, my friend.
Good morning, sir.
And
Good morning,
birthday
everybody.
boy, our fearless leader, 13 years now. Jimmy D. Celebrating a little B-Day today. His Maui Wowie, his Loey Noey.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday! You can find him in the Florida Home Pros team with Keller Williams Innovations. 13 plus years now we've been doing this show, and you did tell me, I don't know, was it on air maybe? It was off air. We started the show like right before your birthday.
Yeah, right before my birthday.
Like
It was a really special birthday gift to me.
big time.
6 weeks. That's how long they gave us. Remember, sitting at the table, it was a 6-week show.
Totally.
Now it's 13 years.
13 years later.
Yeah, 13
Boy, we
years.
snowed them over,
I
didn't we?
know, right? They don't even know that we're really here right now. We just come in and just do it.
I sent somebody.
None of them are left.
That lasted them all.
Yeah.
I sent somebody my digital business card, and it has a picture of me. She's like, I know you from somewhere. I'm like, oh, maybe the radio I've been on. She's like, yeah, were you like on billboards or something? I'm like, no, we don't get advertising like
Yeah,
that.
we're not
you know?
that
I don't think I've ever been on any
Billboard
ad other than Johnny's
commercials.
yeah, your vocal one, right?
Right.
Like no visual advertising
Yep.
that wasn't self-generated or this show generated.
Hey, anybody listening to the show, if you happen to watch the Sundance channel, which I do not watch usually, if you see the Clown Killer documentary on there, let me know, because I think it's supposed to come out this month or next month.
Oh, cool.
It's a 3-part documentary on the Wellington Clown Killer.
And you're in there, right?
They tell me I'm in there. I don't
Nice.
know if I made it to the cutting room floor or if I'm actually in it, but they kept asking me for photos from back then, which was very hard for me to find because I don't take photos of myself ever, unless it's for work and I have to.
Right.
I'm not a photo guy.
Do you know, is
So-
it all the way up until, she's out?
Yeah, it's all the way down. In fact, the producers didn't even know how to get in touch with her. So after she got out, they called and said, we really need your photos. They had been asking me like 2 months and I couldn't find anything. And they're like, you're going to be part of this thing. We really need some photos of you back when you were a reporter 30 years ago.
Hey, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. There we go.
So,
Right.
right. So that was so funny.
I said
So-
did you know that the lady was released?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
we
was
talked
released a
about that.
few months ago.
Okay.
Well, that's what
So
I'm saying. Is this documentary or this 3-parter all the way up to her freedom?
I think it is. So what happened, because they were finalizing the edits when she got out
She was held in jail for way too long for
for
nothing.
the COVID and because of COVID and everything, it really slowed it down. So what happened was
She was a hostage.
when I was
Hostage.
talking to the
If you will.
producers, I said, she got out, and they go, yeah. And I said, well, she was released, not got out, right?
Right.
She was released. And I said, so, I go, are you going to try to contact her? Because I was just interested, former journalist, how are you going to handle this? And she says, well, we don't know how to find her. And I go, oh, call up the Department of Corrections. I'm sure she has to leave information with them she's probably on some type of probation. I don't know,
Gosh, I would hope not.
but I'm not sure, but
I
I
can
would
find out
assume
for
there might be, right? So I said, you could always call the law firm or, to see if they would be interested. She would be interested, but you also go to the Department of Corrections. You might be able to find information there. In England, you can't get the same kind of information, public information you get in Florida. And that's why I'm not a journalist here anymore, because Florida's information laws are becoming more and more and more restrictive.
The free state of Florida?
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Huh.
It's so bad about our public record laws. The reason why we have Florida Man is because of the public record laws, that everybody can find out everything that's happening here. If Iowa had the same open record laws that we have, we'd have Iowa Man. You know what I mean?
That's
But-
arguable.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Oh, you're mad about Iowa because
No, I'm
your
not
family's
mad. I
from
just know
Iowa.
the people. I know the Iowans.
Oh,
They're
I'm sure
different than
there's.
the Floridians.
I'm sure they're different. I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some people that are different. No, but the bottom line is that it'll be interesting. So if anybody, I don't even know the name of what the documentary is called. I'm just calling it the Wellington Clown Killer. But if you see it on Sundance, let me know. I'm interested in seeing what happened with
Cool.
that. I'll probably start getting texts and emails. Yeah, I just saw you on TV, because
Yeah.
that's what happens with 2020 and stuff when that happened. So anybody knows, let me know. I want to get into trending and everything. The first thing I want to say, though, I don't want to get into too much of it, but we've had our first break or breather from rising interest rates. Our interest rates have risen for 5 weeks in a row now.
Holla.
We got all the way up to 7.04, and now we're at 6.96. So we had a little bit of a dip. Anything helps is better. So the interest rates flatten out for the first week. Whether this is beginning a trend, we'll start seeing it go down or not, we'll find out in a couple of weeks. We'll keep an eye out and let you know. Now, when it comes to the annual report, very interesting stuff. So I'm going to start off with Palm Beach County, and most of the trending, with the exception of St. Lucie County, because that's at a different price point and it has about half the amount of sales that we get in Broward, Dade, and Palm. That Palm is a good representation of the 3-county area, Dade, Broward, and Palm. Not much difference in the reports. So for Palm Beach County, let's go over the median sales price, which is what everybody cares about. Did my house grow in value or not grow in value for owners? And for buyers, it's like, our price is still going up, and when is this ever going to stop?
Right.
So according to the year-end market detail, the median sales price, this is interesting. Wait, let me go here. Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you, Johnny.
Thank
Okay.
Triple bless.
So the monthly report for December 2024 for Palm Beach County, the median sales price was $622,500. Now they're saying that's a 7.3% increase over December 2023, right? So 7.3%, that's pretty healthy appreciation, especially in a slow market.
1 to 4% is like what we'd anticipate on a
3 to 4,
3
3
to
to
4?
4 for Florida has been traditional, other than the wacky time of COVID. Okay. And ever since COVID, things have been out of whack. And I'm going to look back from 2019, the year pre-COVID, all the way up through 2024. And there's some really interesting points I learned by doing that exercise. But let's just stick with the median sales price. So if you're a regular consumer and you're reading the local newspaper, it said the monthly report came out for December and we had 7.3% appreciation, you're going to feel pretty good about yourself, or you should, that this is pretty healthy. We're still in a good thing. Market's still hot. That's what they're saying.
Home value is still going up.
Right. Home value's going up.
Equity
right?
position increasing.
So everybody's just thinking, oh, these are the salad days, right? But when you look at the year stats, okay.
Wait, is a salad day it's good? It's like a feast?
Yeah, the salad days are considered like the gravy days. You ever heard of gravy days? Salad
Yeah.
days is the same as gravy days.
Okay.
And
I
if
haven't
you
heard
look
that.
it up, look it up.
No, I haven't heard it
Yeah.
before. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not doubting you.
Well, this time it isn't a Jim DePola thing. It's actually a real thing. Now he's going to look it up.
I have to.
I want you to.
Caesar.
So 7.3% year over year. Now for the year of 2024, if you don't go back to December 2023, you just do January through December 31st, the median sales price over the whole year was 630. Okay. And that's a 5.5% increase over the year trend for 2023. Okay. So year over year, we're at 7.3. The average for the year, we're at 5.5. Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Some people don't agree with this, but I think it's a good barometer when you're selling your house, when you're trying to set prices to figure out where you're going to put the house on the market. Are you going to put it at the upper end of the bracket because it's a super strong market and you might be able to get this really high number that you're hoping for? Or we're in a very, very slow market, and if you put it at that price, it'll just sit there with no action. So if you put it at the much lower price, is that what it's going to take to sell? And of course, there's an in-between in there. So in 2024, we started out in January. Oh, I thought it was 600. I'm wrong on my numbers, Mike. So I'm going to do these numbers different. But we started out at 615. Okay. And then it got all the way in June. It kept climbing until we hit a high of June of 660. Okay. And then after June, we went down almost every single month until December. So November, we got down to 600, from 660 to 600, which is a 10% drop.
Median.
Right? Median sales price is a 10% median sales price drop.
So that means half sold for more,
Half sold for less. Right? And December 2024, which is very common in December, you see a little bit bump in December. I don't know why, but I went back 4 years, and December always seemed to be a little bit higher than November for 4 years in a row. I don't know why that happens, but it was at 622. So if you take the high for the year, right? If you take the high for the year, of 660, and you subtract 622.5.
Wait, that wasn't the low though.
No, but this is the end of the year.
Okay.
So we're going to go the high for the year was 660. We ended at 622. Right.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing. So that's 37.5 divided by 660. That's a 5.6% depreciation from the high of the year for the median sales price. It was 5.6% down from the high.
Decrease in appreciation.
Well, think about it this way. If the median sales price was 660 and now it's 622, that's depreciation for median sales
price. Does that
price.
mean your house depreciated? That just means that.
No, that means the market depreciated. The market. It isn't your house. This is the median of all the houses, right? Half sold for more, half sold for less. So that median price, the median price has depreciated, has gone down.
From the high of the year.
From the high of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But the realtors don't look at it that way. How they look at it is, hey, we either have 5% appreciation for the whole year on average, or we're at 7.3% appreciation for year over year.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't look at the high for the year and then do it. Now, what they do, because that doesn't look as good, if they did it that way, what they do is they take all 12 months median sales price divided by 12, and that's how you get the 630.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So it's the average of the medians.
I don't have that in front of me, Mike. I don't really have it in front of me. I might have it. Let me see.
Well,
or they do the median of the entire year.
Oh, I do have it, Mike. I do have it. Hold on. Let me
Should give you the same result, actually.
I think you'd be right there, right?
I think. Jeez, we need a mathematician.
Okay, so the median.
Who's the numbers guy?
The median sales price here. This is something that was amazing to me. Median sales price in 2019 in Palm Beach County was $354,900 5 years ago.
Pre-COVID.
Right. Then COVID it jumped from 354 to 389.
Do you think we would have ever done that if interest rates were
Mm.
5%, 6%?
Good question.
No.
No, I don't either.
Well, you mean and had COVID, but the interest rates stayed high?
Or were high because they.
I think what
were
would have happened is
ridiculously low.
people would have left, but not as many people because it was such cheap money to move, right? I mean, that's cheap money. I mean, I know people that were cash buyers are like, I'll take the 2.75% interest rate and take a loan out because it's so cheap and
Yeah.
I'll keep my money.
Sure.
Right. So there was a lot of that going on. So I probably would say about half of the action would have happened and it still would have raised prices, but not the craziness that we saw. So we went from 354 to 389. Then in 2021, which was the strongest COVID year, right? Because I always thought 2020, 2021, and 2022 were COVID years. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
But really, it's not true. When you look at the stats, it's not true at all. COVID really only affected us. And this is like crack, right? This was like crack. Those interest rates and everything, they were only around for about 18 months.
Yeah, I've never tried crack. I don't know
Right?
that
Yeah.
feeling.
I've
No,
only
no.
watched people try crack when I was
So
my
COVID
old
was
job.
for me was 2020, 2021.
Yeah, and that's pretty much true. But it was really only 18 months of it because you know what I mean?
March to
Because March,
the end of 2022.
yeah, everybody started really waking up in April, May was
Yeah.
when they started waking up. March, we were still in shock that everything was shut down.
Everything got
And,
shut down, yeah.
everybody was in shock. And then April, May, everybody started waking up. I could work anywhere I want to. And then June, boom. June was like explosion time all the way through 2021. But 2022 really slowed down a lot. But let me just show you here. 354 in 2019, 2020, 389, 2021, 475. It went from 389 to 475. 2022, 571. Okay. 2023 went from 571 to 597. Not so much, 4.6% over median sales price average. And then this year was 630, right? So
Guess what else happened in 2022?
what's that?
Started the year.
Wait. Oh, no, that was 2023. What happened in 2023?
Started the year at 3.10, 3.11, 3.11, and ended the year at 6.27.
Yeah, in the sixes. So we almost doubled.
Double interest rates in 2022.
Double.
So if you go up 3 points, you lose 30% of your purchase power, right?
Just like
10% for each point,
But the
right? So you lose,
prices
but the
didn't come down.
prices went up. That's why we're having this big crisis right now. That's the easiest way to describe our crisis. I think that we could handle the shock of the insurance if it wasn't for the higher interest rates and the lower purchasing power that people have. We could have survived.
Well, a lot of people were in that, like people who were in these loans, they had already bought the home, they're refinanced, so they got the insurance shock, right? Like they didn't do anything but handle it, right? There was nothing to do. But when you talked earlier before the break, Jim, about like Texas and Florida slowing down so much where it's not even, why aren't people moving to Florida? What's interest rates, right? Interest rates, but that's why aren't people moving is the answer, right?
Oh, they're locked in.
Yeah, they're
It's
just,
very
it's affordability is difficult.
Yep.
Difficult.
Yes.
Because of price increases, because of insurance increases, because of interest rate increases.
Yes. And a lot of people are realizing, I don't know if realize is the right word, but a lot of people I've talked to have said that the lack of income taxes in Florida is now outstripped by all those other costs. And not just monetary costs, but I have to live in an area that might be devastated by hurricanes. I have higher insurance rates, all of that stuff. When you add it all together, it's like, the no income tax isn't that valuable, as valuable as it used to be to me. And that's another thing that's happened a lot. Now, closed sales. Okay. This year we had 13,317 single family home closed sales in Palm Beach County. That's down 4% from the year before, which was 13,868, which was down, 2023 was down from 2022 by 8%, which is amazing, right? That's a really big drop. So in 2022, we had 15,000 sales. And then in 2023, we only had 13,000 sales, right? Now in 2020, 2021, we had 19,000 sales. That's the high. 2021 is going to be considered the high all-time record for Palm Beach County
In a
and
month?
Florida for monthly sales.
The highest month was 19,000.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, over the last 5 years, by far, 19,000 was the biggest. Okay, but when we went from 2021 with 19,000 sales and we dropped to 15,000 sales in 2022, that was a 22% decrease in the number of closed sales. Pretty dramatic. Now, 2020, which was a bad year really for real estate at the beginning of the year and then became super hot at the end of the year, we had 18,000 sales, which is 5,000 more than we had this year in 2024. That was ironically, in 2020, we had a 4.3% increase in the amount of properties sold compared to 2019, right? So the reason why we had a little bit of increase and not the big increase like 2021 is it took us until half the year before people woke up and really started buying houses. So 2020 was really a 6-month thing, not a full year. And then 2019 was flat compared to 2018. Both years they had 17,421 sales. Both years, 2018, 2019, and it stayed flat from 2018 to 2019. You know why? Because interest rates got super high. They were the highest rate in like 6 or 7 years, and it hit 5.99. That's when it hit 5.99 was 2019.
So what the people really want to know, Jim, is what's going to happen this year.
Well, not yet. We're going to get there. Okay, we're going to get there. So, so the median sales price, that part is really interesting. The other thing I felt was really interesting is median percentage of original list price received. Right. So list price to sold price. That really hasn't. Well, it has changed a lot over the couple of years, but it really hasn't changed for traditional years before COVID. So 2019, before COVID, we were getting about 95% of list price to sold price, which is 93 to 95% is pretty much the average before we had COVID, right? Then in 2020, we had 95% again, almost 96%. Then in 2021 in Palm Beach County, we were getting 98.7% of list price to sold price. 2022, 98.4%. And then 2023, 95%. And then this year, we're down 1%, 94%, right? 94% is still pretty much average. Like if you were in 2018 to 2015, that's pretty much where you were. So we're back to kind of normal median price, list price to sold price. The reason why a lot of that's happened is now, just to give you an idea, Port St. Lucie at one point of these median price to list price, sold price to list price, at one point, Port St. Lucie got 101% list price to sold price. So half the homes sold for more than what they were listed for back then, right? I thought that was kind of interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right. So now days on market, it really hasn't changed that much. This is kind of interesting. In 2019, the average home took 53 days to sell, right? We got down as low in 2021 and 2022. We were at 15 days, right? But now we're at 44 days. Last year, it took about 44 days to sell. Now, I really find that number is not, it kind of tells you where you are, but it's not a real number because I know that it seems to me that way more homes, I know this is the median time to contract, but it feels like 44 days is low for the average home selling in today's market. I just looked at a neighborhood yesterday for a comp. There were 12 homes active, pending, and sold, and 9 of them were at 130 days to 365 days.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not even in the trenches like you are, and that number feels low.
Yeah, it feels low, but
Yep.
but it's the stats. They added it all up, and that's what it came out to.
Now that number is list to close or list
No,
to
just
offer?
to offer,
Okay.
right, to getting into contract.
Okay.
The list to close, I don't really care about that because I close everything, so I don't, or almost everything. I don't even think about it. But in case anybody cares about it,
Well, there's other factors involved. I mean, you might
Well,
have to
whether-
delay a little bit because
also the deal could die.
right. Well,
right?
there's
So,
that. But
yeah, and that's
yeah.
included in
Mhm.
here.
And
So
those days don't stop counting, right? So days on market doesn't stop counting once you go into contract. Like, and then
No,
let's
the
say,
days on market will stop once you go into contract and you tell the MLS we're in contract. The days on market stop.
and then if it goes back on market, does it pick up there? Or
Yes,
does
it
it
picks
count the
up where
days in
you
between?
left off.
Oh.
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one. I think it picks up the days in between. It doesn't just start, we're back on market. You were
Yeah,
on
you
the
stopped
market.
at 40 days and
Right,
then
and go
30
41.
days pass. Okay.
Yeah, you might be 70 days at that point. I
Well,
have to
that's not
chug a
fair.
chip. I know,
You weren't
but
really on the
It
market.
sounds like a decision.
anti-seller.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like sellers will be like, no, wait a second.
I have to
like, 'cause
double check. I
MLS
don't know
yeah.
the answer. If any realtor's watching the show right now and has a real answer for that, let me know. But the median times of sale, Jimmy, was 87 days to close was 87 days. In 2019, it was 95 days. And in 2021, it was 62 days. So it's taken us like 3 weeks longer to close than in the hottest period ever with the most cash buyers, right? 2021 was the highest cash buyers ever, at least over the last couple of years. So,
This is good for your 21-day marketing plan,
yeah.
right? Because when it was like 15 days on market, you couldn't even implement your plan. Now you got 45 days on market, 60 days on market. Your plan is effective.
Well, I like to think that my 21-day plan is effective when I sell it in 15 days.
Yeah.
When I have to do the 21-day plan over and over again, I don't consider it, that isn't a success story for me, right? But you have to do it. And for me to tell people I'm really going to try to sell your house in 21 days, very few people make that commitment to somebody. And when
Right.
I say commitment, I'm not guaranteeing it, but because they have to pick the right price and, be within the realms of what's happening in their community and everything. And there's things like that in the condition of the home and all that.
Sure.
But
It is a guarantee that you have a plan.
but the thing is I have a plan to get the house sold in 21 days. And until last year, 78% of my homes for 12 years, 78% of my homes sold in 21 days or less. So, I mean, I've got and that's during short sales period, high interest rates, low interest rates, any market you could think of I was in, I was pretty much the 21-day guy.
And your percentage, at least through what I've paid attention to in the 13 years of this show, you're like on that upper 90 side for the most part. I bet you the last year's been tough.
Do you mean closings?
No, the listing to
sold.
to contract price.
Sold. Yeah. So the way that you're taught as a realtor, that if you take a listing, when you go on a listing appointment, you have a 65% chance for the average agent to have that seller agree to work with you.
How much?
65%. So you're going to go to 10 appointments. And if you're an average realtor, you should get 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of those 6.5, you should, national statistics show 85% of those will close of the 65%. Now, buyers, when you meet with the buyer, you have an 85% chance for the average agent to get the buyer to agree to work with you exclusively, but you only have a 65 chance success rate of actually closing with that buyer. So the numbers are swapped.
Wow.
And realtors actually use those numbers to map out their plan of how much money they want to make the next year. Okay, so if I want to make X amount of dollars, I got to go on these amount of appointments and then get these amount of people to agree to work with me, and what percentage of them are going to close. And you map all that out, and that sets your annual salary, and that's what you shoot for.
And how many calls you have to make to get that amount of appointments, all of that.
And all of that stuff. Now, my track record, ever since I've been a realtor, it hasn't really changed much. Almost everything I touch closes. I had 2 expired listings last year. One guy rehired me. One guy went to rental.
Oh, and those still keep you up.
Yeah, and they do. I still think about the rental guy, because he and his wife were great, and I really wish they didn't turn it into a rental, because the appreciation really isn't worth it right now. And the insurance costs are going to be higher. So, but the bottom line is that my record, Johnny, getting back to what you're saying, I'm in the 90s for everything, right? So if you sign a listing or a buyer agreement with me, there's 92% expectation, not even a chance, 92% expectation we're closing, right? Which is way different than the other numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Because I vet people right, and I train them right so they can make the decisions that are best for them, not for me, but so they can make informed decisions, and having the right team, right? Having Mike and Ross and, I'm dealing with Paul Krasker a lot lately because we've had a lot of probate estate, and now there's people getting in trouble with their mortgages again.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that a little bit more. So I'm dealing with them. So we have a team. We have the title company. We have title issues. We have this whole team here to make sure that, that the person working with this has all the resources they need.
And you got high level concepts like the Maui Wowie,
Lowy
the
Noey.
Lowy Noey.
Oh yeah. Just hire me for those, just for the terminology.
What do you call it when you get it sold for the list price? You haven't it's like a listy wisty or like
No.
Nailed it, Shamil.
No. I'm not adding any new terms. Says Maui Wowie, Lowy Noey.
Lowy
I'm leaving
Noey.
a no. That's
I like them. They're catchy.
But the thing is that I just put out in the last newsletter. The new newsletter comes out by email to everybody in our database. So if you want to be part of the newsletter, just let me know. Last week's newsletter, one of the things we said at the bottom of the newsletter is what makes us different. And when I say us, I don't mean the Florida Home Pros with Keller Williams, although I mean that too. I mean us, meaning the Florida Talk real estate team that we've put together. So I started explaining, normally, if you're a person that wants to buy a house, you got to find a realtor, then you got to find a mortgage broker, then you got to find an insurance company, then you got to find the property inspector, and you don't even know. And then you might have to pick title, and you have to pick title. You don't know any of that, right? Well, with us, you can make one phone call, and you can get all of those people, very reputable people, to give you all their perspectives as to what's going on, including Jarrett Perry from the Perry CPA Group. We just got 2 people over to Jarrett's group last week. That one is estate planning for Ed. He needs to find out some stuff because he's getting up there. He's about my age.
Getting up there.
So he's getting up there, and he's worried that he wants to make sure that he has a plan for his future. He owns a little bit of land. We got him over to Jarrett and Andrew over at Jarrett's office, and they're working on it. But that's the kind of thing with us. You pick up the phone, and we'll try to get you answers. I had another call, a guy named Frank. I never heard of this before. He lives in Vero Beach. Frank's a big fan of the show. He owns a house up there that's relatively new. I think between 1997 and 2007, like not an ancient house up there. And all of his copper piping for supply lines have shot. Copper, not polybutylene, copper. And I'm like, I never heard of that before. Apparently, the Indian River water plant was putting in chemicals that ate up the copper pipes in people's houses, and like 15% of the houses up there got to get the supply lines replaced.
Oh,
And
Yeah, I was
it's-
talking to Frank too.
Yeah, because he was calling for the, and
He was trying to figure out, can he tap into his equity to pay for this relatively expensive fix, replumbing.
And you can't do that with a normal realtor. You can't call up a realtor and say, hey, I got a plumbing problem and I need to raise money for it.
Yeah.
First of all, do I really have a plumbing problem? Can you get me the answers? And second of all, can you help me get the financing?
right.
You don't do that with a realtor normally, but you do that with the Florida Talk real estate team. That's what makes us different than everybody else, and that we care. Everybody on this team cares about people. We don't do things to make money just to make money.
Right.
If we make money by helping you, great, but we're going to get you the answers that you need that's best for you.
So that is a huge aspect for me. I think Jimothy as well, being a part of this show
Absolutely.
with you guys as a team, a small little part of what you do, obviously, but it's about the integrity. It's about that community tie. It's about the caring for the people, understanding that the business will come. It's about just making sure that everybody's right. Everybody eats, everybody does well. And another thing I love is it's not a pay for play. Like if you send someone over to Mike's not commissioning you.
No
Not-
referral
You send
fees.
someone to Ross.
No.
Doesn't commission. It's not. There's no referral fee here. The reason the people are on the team that are on this team is that like-mindedness, that understanding that, wow, we work well together. We all have the same viewpoint about how business should be conducted. Be well for people. Do well by people. All that business comes your way. It's not about screwing people just to get a buck.
Yeah,
It's never been the way. If it was, Jimothy's not here, I'm not here.
No.
And this show's not going 13 years.
No, one
It
of the
just
things
doesn't make it.
I'd love to point out is there's been 2 different transactions now that I've dealt with when it comes to a lender. Mike gave me advice on both of them. He didn't get either one of those.
Yeah,
because
my
they
advice
just
is go somewhere else.
they just didn't right. I mean, how about that? I mean, just giving me what I needed. And,
Yeah.
And
That's
Mike
the way it
didn't do
is.
that just because it's Jimothy. If
No.
you're thinking, oh well, of course he's going to do that. He's the producer of the show, and
Mike
blah, blah,
doesn't
blah.
want Jimothy's business.
Yeah.
He's real,
Saturday.
little sketchy over there.
No, Mike, I've watched Mike do that dozens and dozens. I want to say hundreds, but I don't want to
Right.
exaggerate. But dozens and dozens of times throughout the 8 years or so, I've watched Mike do that, and that's what we all do. We're all like that. Yesterday, I was talking to a guy named Chris. Chris has a friend, a long-term friend that's in a really big, tough financial jam. I wish they had called me earlier because they were in a foreclosure process. I probably could have saved them some money, but they didn't, and it's okay. But Chris isn't even involved in the real estate transaction. He's just trying to help a friend. And he called me up. He's like, I got to call the show and find out, that he told me yesterday, the first thing that popped in my head was to call Jim to see if we can help him out. Now,
That's awesome.
I couldn't really help them out that much, but what I did find is they need a low-cost housing place for a woman who has dementia and very little income with not a lot of assets. So I know of this Catholic charity place that my aunt was in downtown West Palm. Is for low-income people right off of Flagler. It's a beautiful area, and it's a really great facility. And he didn't know about it. And I'm like, you might want to start investigating that. So I gave him the website and all that. Now, that's the most I could help him. But I'm telling you, if he called 5 realtors, they probably wouldn't have taken the effort. It took me like a couple hours to figure all that out for him. Right. And I didn't mind doing it because he was helping somebody else. And I was like, this is a really good guy. I got to help him because he's helping somebody else.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, even the Frank story is another one. I talked to him, several conversations, and there, did some research, and he was trying to tap into equity. There's a reason he shouldn't have do that. Like I said, Frank, at the end of the day, if you can find the money to do this project some other way, including putting it on a credit card, right, or something like that, it's better off than doing a loan against your home for certain specific reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, he was vaguely kind of like had a vague sense of that potential problem, but I investigated, helped him understand it clearly, kind of refresh his memory about the situation. And so, it's one of those, not doing a loan for him.
Yep.
I could have, but I basically said that
Talked him out of it.
It doesn't make any sense, Frank. Like that's a terrible financial
and
decision.
he's senior. He's a senior on a budget, right?
Yeah.
So we have to be very cognizant of that. We don't ever want to put somebody in a jam. I have a lady right now who's 3 or 4, almost 3 months behind on her payment. And she's got in her head that she's been making the principal and interest payments on the mortgage, Mike, but it's a regular mortgage. But all she's doing is turning in principal and interest and then calling up the bank and say, put it towards my principal and interest, no escrow payment. Well, now the bank is saying, hey, your escrow is way, way behind. And under your terms of your contract, Mike, you have to make that escrow payment, right? Am I wrong about that?
There is something there about any money that comes in has to go towards principal and interest before it can go to escrow. So there's something to that. Now,
but
I
if
don't
I
know.
just decided if I bought a loan and I had escrow built into it and I just stopped paying my escrow payment, I don't think the lender will let you do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. But
so what happened with this person?
Increase your.
Well, the payment's always they're having to foot the bill for insurance and taxes every year because they don't want your home uninsured and they don't want property tax auction, right?
Right.
To
they don't
happen,
want the tax foreclosure.
So they will continue to make those payments. Now, what they do with the checks that you send in, there's something that they have to do with that.
But she has it in her mind that she's like current.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're not really current, and they can accelerate the loan if you broke the terms of the contract by not making the escrow payments, or when the insurance and the escrow, when the insurance bills due or the tax bills due, and they don't have the money, believe me, they're going to come after you in some way. And she has, according to what she's saying, she has decent equity in the house, but she has no income. And if she can't buy something, she doesn't have good enough credit to buy something afterwards unless it was cash. But if she did cash,
all her money,
right, she isn't making that much money off the house. So what I said to her is like, look, I'm not a financial planner, and you should probably talk to your family, people that you trust in your family, because they know your situation better. And if you need to talk to a financial planner or somebody, you should do that. But my attitude is, with the amount of money you can get from this house, you can go get a rental paying almost the same amount as the loan you're paying right now, right? And I calculated, and I said, if you just use this money for rent, She's a senior person, so it isn't like she has to worry about 30 years from now, right?
Okay.
She could make the mortgage payment, rental payment of based on what we said for about 166 months, right? Then she would have all of her normal income that she gets from her Social Security or whatever. That would be used for living expenses and electricity and all that. But if she put that money in a lockbox, she could do it. I said, and maybe you can buy something. I don't know. Maybe you can buy a $60,000 condo. But the thing I'm more worried about is what happens if the condo fees start going up and you're obligated because of all the problems that we're having. And then you can't afford that unit after you put so much your money you're into it. I go, I don't know your best answer, but I can tell you this. If you keep playing around with that bank, they're going to start taking out late fees. I call them the garbage fees, right? The late fees, the accrued interest. Sorry, Mike, the accrued interest fees. I said, if they file the lis pendens, which is the foreclosure lawsuit against you saying, hey, I'm suing you because you haven't paid, boom, it's $2,500 to $5,000, boom, automatically for the recording fees and the bank hiring the attorney. They charge you for all that. Every time that something comes in your mail, you're being charged from that by the bank.
All of it eating away your equity.
You're eating away your equity. So what I told this person is you have to have a ticking clock in your head and hearing tick, 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 tick. And every tick is a little bit of that equity that you work so hard to have is being taken away from you. And you got to do something fast.
Yeah, it's like 10 ticks is one less month that you're covering your rent. Right?
Exactly. So
she's like 14 years basically.
Right. She has a decent, even if it was 10, it would give her a sense of security. So there are options out there for people. And I haven't talked to her since 2018. She called me for a loan mod in 2018 and I have never talked to her since. And she picked up the phone and she was like, hi. And she told me her name and I didn't know who it was right away. But when I looked it up, I recognized that she was with us before.
And look through all the notes and everything.
Oh, you know that. It's pages and pages.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, that's what makes us a little bit different over here is because we understand the market really well. We're all professionals. We're all like local business guys. We're Brightway's a big chain and Mortgage Firm is a medium-sized chain.
But not all Brightways are cut from the same cloth.
And all mortgage firm isn't the same either. I've worked with some good mortgage firm guys and I've, in the past, and I've worked with just like realtors, right?
Sure.
Everybody's skill set's different.
Right.
So that's what makes us a little different. If you guys want the newsletter or anything, we give you kind of what happened on the show. One of our big things was when we told everybody after the show that don't automatically call up your insurance company. If you think you have a claim, call your agent first. That got a lot of action from our newsletter.
I even got a little highlight in there, although not a name drop, but I was like, oh, he's talking about me. He's talking about me.
That's true. So getting back to the inventory, though, getting back to the stats for 2024, Mike was asking about months of supply of inventory, and that's called the absorption rate. So what that means is, based on current sales, how long would it take to gobble up all the properties that are on the market if no new properties came on? If it's 6 months, it's neutral. Less than 6 months, it's leaning towards the seller. More than 6 months, leaning towards the buyer. We haven't been in a 6-month period for years and years. It's been a long time. So we are at the highest months of supply inventory in the last 5 years. Not very surprising. But let me just go through it because I think it's kind of interesting. In 2019, we were at 4.2 months of inventory, so leaning towards the buyer. Then in 2020, we got to 2.3 months of inventory, right? That's when prices started picking up. You could see that reflected in the median sales price. Then in 2021, Palm Beach County had 1.1 months of inventory, right, for the year. So that was the crazy year that everybody went nuts, right? Because there was no inventory and the interest rates were super, super low. Everybody wanted to take advantage of the interest rates, so they were just gobbling up homes left and right.
But so all those numbers were less than 6. So under the traditional, all neutral point of 6 months, it's all been seller side, seller market.
It has. Then in 2022, we jumped from 1.1 to 3.2. So we saw, a big inventory increase that year.
But still seller advantage.
Still half of what would normally be a neutral market. And then in 2023, we jumped up to 4.0. And then this year we ended up for year over year was 5.1 months of inventory. Now, I got to tell you that Mike said this a couple of shows ago. even though that 6-month thing has been very standard in the national industry for a very, very long time, Mike says it doesn't feel that way.
Right.
And I totally agree with Mike. It doesn't feel like the sellers right now have a huge edge over the buyers. There are times where I do see that happening, but they're more lightning strikes than a consistent storm.
Right.
If you were like a storm.
Yeah.
I just remember Roberto. We put Roberto's house in 12 days. I got it sold. We had 14 showings in 12 days, and the house was sold.
And
Okay?
this is the one that had 5 other homes on the same street for sale. Or
Three other homes.
Yeah.
And I checked yesterday. I was going to bring it up, but they're all still for sale. Okay. And then when they see we close, they're going to go, that's the price I have it at the market for right now. I didn't mind sell.
What happened?
Yeah. So
yeah, we kind of switched from that 6-month to a 3-month number, right?
I think
I'm
thinking 4 months in my head.
Okay.
I know that you're thinking 3, and 3 might be right because
I mean, back then, that's what I'm saying. Like when we were in 2019, 2020, 2021, that 3-month felt like buyer seller market, that threshold.
But there's one variable though that matters as much though. It's that interest rate. Because if we were at 3% interest rate right now,
oh yeah, we'd be on fire. It would be be crazy town. It would be idiocracy.
If we were 4 or even 5% interest rate, I think that
buyers would be coming out.
I think it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the variables that kind of gets lost in that number or equation.
It's true about that, and I just want to wrap
Or is
up.
that the main
I know
cause
that
for
we're
it?
close, Jimmy. I just want to wrap up with the inventory. So the inventory, we've been talking about this like throughout the whole region, but in Palm Beach County in 2019, we were at 6,100 homes for sale, and we got as low as 1,800 homes for sale in what year? 2021, because 2021 was the fire year. Then we jumped up from 1,800 to 4,000 in 2022. Then we only jumped up to 4,500 in 2023. But this year in 2024, we hit 5,600 homes for sale right now, a 22% increase over the year before. But we're still 300 homes less than in 2019. I find that to be very interesting.
And I would think the vast majority of these homes all have interest. They're all sitting currently with it, unless they own their home outright, sitting currently with interest rates that are well below what you could get currently, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are people that are kind of like financially feeling good about their spot. So it's all about trying to, unless you have to, right? If there's a need to move, but otherwise, these are people that are like, man, I got to do this if I'm going to do it, because this might be my peak. Right? Is I guess what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I don't see any flaw with that reasoning.
No, I don't either. We're going to have to see things are going. Hey, there's a lot of people on the YouTube and Facebook right now. Like our page and share our page and let people know about us. I had a bunch of people this week tell me, who I didn't really know very well, that called me for questions this week that all said, without me asking, the reason why I like listening to your show is I learn stuff. I find it interesting. I was learning something from the show, and that's what we try to do. Education and entertainment, have a couple laughs,
A little bit.
and at the same time, kind of let you know really what's going on in the market and help you decide what you need to do for you and your family.
Yeah, and you can really get a up close and personal understanding of what you can do potentially for you and your family. All you got to do is reach out to the team, floridatalkrealestate.com, floridatalkrealestate.com.
Thank you. Jimmy, where are we now?
We got
about 2.5 minutes.
Oh, we still got 2.5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, then let's
Plenty
do
of
one
time.
more thing. I want to go up on one more chart.
Should we talk football? Oh, no, we could talk your chart. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You want to talk football? Go
I
ahead
mean,
and
you
talk
want
football. I have to
Commanders.
pull it up anyway.
So, yeah,
the Commanders, the Washington Commanders.
What did they make? Didn't they get?
They're in. They're playing.
They're still in?
playing tomorrow. Playing
Oh,
Philly.
I didn't know. I gave up after the
This
Dolphins.
is a conference championship.
Yeah.
We could
This
be
is-
going to the big game.
There's one game away from.
Yeah.
And I always thought Marino was a rookie when he went to the Super Bowl. I
Hmm.
guess I'm wrong. I thought must have been his
It
second
was like
year.
second year or third year, I thought.
It must have been, because I'm hearing that Jaden Daniels will be the first rookie quarterback to make a Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
If they win tomorrow. Is
Yeah,
that
well, they
true?
wouldn't overlook Dan Marino if that was true. They wouldn't have
I
overlooked him. for
always
sure.
thought Marino, when he lost to the Niners there in where were they, the Rose Bowl or something, I thought he was a rookie that year.
What about
I'm telling you,
Brady?
I'm telling
Is
you,
he in
there's
his
no.
second or third
It
year
was a
behind
couple years
Bledsoe?
before he really took off.
His rookie year.
What about
yeah.
Mahomes?
Nope. Mahomes sat his rookie year. That was Alex Smith, and Brady sat his rookie year.
What about Russell Wilson? No?
Mm-mm. They didn't win a Super Bowl or even go to a Super Bowl until a few years after. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just not, you don't have to win, just go.
Yeah, that's what the old Wikipedia says.
What's the line? I think the Eagles are favored.
6.
Like
on
5.5, 6, something like
6 on the Hard Rock app.
Yeah, something like
I
that.
just looked it up.
Yeah.
I have a theory on the Dolphins because we had the perfect season.
Wait, the who?
The Dolphins.
Hmm.
Because we had that perfect season, that's why Dan Marino didn't win the Super Bowl and during his time. And we're not going to win a Super Bowl until somebody breaks that record. That's my prediction. I think it's like the curse of the Bambino.
Okay.
It's the curse of the Marino.
Unfortunately,
I like Dan. I was a fan of him, but I'm just saying that's funny. Curse of the Marino.
He ran into a Niner juggernaut. That was the first year that a running back 1,000 with Roger Craig.
Somebody break the record so we can win the Super Bowl again. Please, just break the record.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Thank
D.
you.
I hope you have a great weekend. Stay warm.
Yes.
And thank you for all that you do. Mike Rao, I hope you have a great weekend as well.
You too. Thank you.
Jimothy, please do the same.
You as well, Mike.